What's up, everybody? It's me, the titular titty man, and I just played Teaching Feeling or Life with a Slave. One of those two titles is what it falls under. And yeah, I just played it. So I'm gonna want to talk about it, or not? I'm gonna want to talk about it. I am going to talk about it and give my official Cider score of this game. We're gonna be putting this bitch on the Cider score. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Cider score is a pretty standard scoring system. It's a 1 through 100 based system. 100 meaning that it's perfect cider. Anything less than 100 means that there are some elements that could have been improved. Maybe it could have sat in the barrel for a little bit longer. There's maybe something a little wrong with the taste. Who knows? But yeah, so let's do this shit. First, let's talk about the story. All right, the story is pretty simple. You are a doctor, an unnamed doctor, who is approached by a strange man that you had saved at one point in the past. He mentions that you saved his life at one point, and so to repay you for saving his life so many years ago, he offers you the services of a slave, child, girl. Basically, he gives you a girl as a slave. Unnamed age. Who knows? But you are given a slave named Sylvie, and it is your job to basically take care of her. However you go about doing this is entirely up to you. You can be an absolute fucking horrible human being, or you can actually be an upstanding citizen of society and take care of this, ex-slave, basically. Also, there is, as far as I know, no official English translation. I could be wrong on this. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But there is not an official English translation, so this being said, though it may be a mainly story-driven game, there is a couple of dialogue issues here with some improper grammar here and there, some stilted stilted dialogue. And also, the fucking help section is absolutely useless if you do not know how to read Japanese. You could just fucking forget about that. You're not going to figure out how to play the game through that thing. It's just going to be trial and error. Main point I want to get across here is you will encounter some issues with some awkward dialogue, maybe some incorrect grammar here and there. That's about it. The visuals, the visual part of this visual novel are actually kind of nice. I'm not too huge of a fan of the art style. It looks very gritty, and I'm not a major fan of it. I think it definitely fits the themes of the game, but it's not my cup of tea. However, I can recognize good art when I see good art, and this is good artwork. And a lot of the character sprites, the animations, the CGs, there's not a whole lot of animations here, but what little there is, it's fluent. The CGs are pretty good. The artwork looks nice, and yeah, all the different outfits look nice as well. Now, to talk about the gameplay a little bit, as I said, it's basically a spacebar simulator. This game is, for the most part, clicking the left mouse button whenever you want to advance the dialogue. Sometimes you'll get dialogue options. For the most part, it's just clicking the mouse button. There isn't a whole lot to do in terms of gameplay. There is a whole lot of menus. You do get a lot of different options for how to take care of Sylvie. You can, go about that not however you want, but you got multiple different options, each one of them obviously being drastically different in how they're going to affect her view towards you. You could be an absolute horrible human being, or you could be a caring person. I'm pretty sure all roads eventually lead to the same thing, but it is worth noting that you do actually have the freedom to go about caring for this individual how you wish. And you'll progressively get more and more options as you go along through the game. The more you play, the more options get opened up to you. Eventually you can take her out for a walk through the forest. At some point you get to start buying her different clothes, or you can take her out to go eat dinner for the night, or you could force her to work as your nurse. This game is kind of weird. You know what to expect. You're not getting a whole lot of innovation. It's nice that there's a whole lot to do. You know, you're on a day to night cycle, so as you go along through the day, you only have so much you could do in one day before, you know, resets the next day. You know, and then you can do whatever you want the next day. And there are some timed events, like you can only go to the cafe after, you know, lunch, or you can only do, you know, certain activities in the daytime. So there's a little bit of innovation there, but it's not anything crazy. Now, last thing I want to talk about is audio. The audio in this game is a little rough, to be honest. The music here is okay. The music is actually not that bad, although it's monotonous. It loops. The songs don't necessarily sound a whole lot different. A lot of them kind of sound very similar. And also, there's a really weird issue that I noticed where the loop on some of the soundtracks is just god awful. Like, somebody did not know how to properly loop music when they were developing this game, so they just had it awkwardly cut back to the beginning with this weird stutter, and it just does not flow at all. You will instantly know when the song has looped, because it will just abruptly stop for a minute and then restart back up. And as for sound effects, well, there are some sound effects here. They're not good, though. The sound effects are pretty not. They're just not that great, to be honest. It just sounds like you're fucking squishing grapes to make wine. The sound effects sometimes. So the sound effects aren't the best. You're not really gonna get a whole lot of immersion here. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's only like 5 different sound effects. Now, overall, in terms of just whether or not this game is really all that good, well, it's a free game, but there's a lot to do for a game that doesn't really have an end. It kind of continues just indefinitely from what it seems like, and there is some shit that you can unlock. I haven't gotten that far yet. So overall, I'd give this game a 70% on the Cider score. It is an okay game. It is a pretty interesting story, you know, teaching this slave how to finally, you know, feel happiness once again, or excruciating pain, I guess, if you want to go that route. You could, I mean, I'm sure there's a path for that. I didn't choose it, but I'm sure you could do that as well if you wanted to. It definitely seemed like an option. 70% on the Cider score. That's about it. See ya.